Hi everyone, welcome to a new video, and in this video I'm going to be reading Philippa Gregory. Okay, so I'm not going to be reading all these books because these are my read books from Philippa Gregory. These are some of many, so I'm going to put these down and get into it. So for those of you who don't know, Philippa Gregory is my favourite and most read author. She writes books about Tudor England, so it's like historical fiction, and she writes about women that aren't normally talked about or brought up in conversation but are very vital to the whole dynamic and how everything shaped in that time. So yeah, I love her. I've written it down, I've read 13 of her books. So she has two series that I read from. She has the Cousins Wars that goes into the War of the Roses. I think particularly for me, I really love that series. And then she has the Tudor series, which goes into obviously Tudor England and all the people in that dynamic. So yeah, out of the 13, I'm actually a little bit surprised that I've only given two of them 5 stars. So I know exactly which my 5-star reads are from Miss Philippa Gregory. The first one is a book that actually got me onto reading, and then also lucky was such a signifier in my life at that time. It's The Lady of the Rivers. It's about Jaquetta, Duchess of Luxembourg. I picked up that book when I was 17, and I remember reading it on my Kindle. I couldn't really read, but obviously I could read, but I couldn't read, which I didn't know at the time was because of my ADHD would not let me concentrate. So that is that. And then I picked it up again when I think I was 20 or 21, when I was at uni my 3rd year, and I discovered audiobooks. And it actually worked out perfectly because I went from the beginning where Chiquetta is like 17 to when she's a little bit older when I was 21, so it fit perfectly. It's honestly such a great book. And in that series, like in the Cousins War series, I literally, if I could, I would petition Philippa Gregory to write about some of the other characters. Like, why haven't we got a Margaret of Anjou book? Like, come on now. And the second book that I gave 5 stars from there was The White Queen. Now the White Princess was okay, it was 4 stars. The White Queen turned me out. So I love that, I love that, I love that. I just love the whole thing. I love her writing style. I love there being 500 pages about one person in particular that is never really discussed before and is so pivotal to these times, and really getting to know that character. Like, I knew Chiquetta from literally when she was Duchess of Luxembourg until the very end. Like it's just crazy. Like, that's the kind of books I love to read. Now I only have 2 more books to read in her Tudor England series, and before anyone says anything, I tried to read her other stuff. I couldn't get into it particularly, so I am just gonna read Philippa Gregory for these historical fiction books that are about the Tudor court or just the English courts or whatever. Okay, so I have 2 books left, and one of them's The Last Tudor, which I didn't know too much about going into it. However, I am reading it at the moment. It's about the Grey sisters, like Lady Jane Grey, Catherine Grey, and I finished the section on Lady Jane Grey. Look away, because why am I in my feelings? It's literally me in my feelings about someone who died all those years ago and got to be queen. And I'm over here living my life, and I'm upset about it. But it was honestly so well done. Like, sometimes she'll just follow like one character all the way through. The only other book what I've read where she goes like multiple characters is Three Sisters, Three Queens, which literally, again, great book, but that was the first one that was done in pieces, right? And that was just so well done, and I love that. And this one, because it's like the first, not even quarter, the first fifth of the book is about Lady Jane Grey, and then the second person is obviously living their life. You kind of get to see how they kind of navigate life after that happening, being a sister, but then you also get a little taste into like the aftermath of that event, and you get reminders of it. So I'm loving it at the moment. I would not be surprised if this puts Philippa Gregory for free 5 stars for me because I love this book. So we shall see, we shall see. And then the second one that I'll be reading in this video is The Other Queen. So from what I can see on Goodreads, it's not from the perspective of Mary Queen of Scots, but it's about Mary Queen of Scots. I'm gonna eat that up because when I was younger, I was a teenager, I used to watch the show Rain. If anyone was a Rain fan, please comment down below. But that's a CW show about Mary Queen of Scots. I used to eat that up. I used to watch it. It would come out on Netflix on a Saturday. I used to watch it on the Saturday morning before I would meet my friends on a Saturday. Like, that's how, like, timed it was and perfect. So yeah, I'm reading The Last Tudor at the moment. I'm eating it up. The reviews I'm seeing, some people aren't eating it up, and that's fine, for The Other Queen, but I'm going in here looking, I think my prediction will be 5 stars for The Last Tudor and 4 stars for The Other Queen, but we shall see, so stay tuned. Hiya everyone, so the last clip was filmed at the beginning of the week, and it is now Sunday, and as you can tell, I'm in bed, comfortable, living my best life. Okay, so I have finished my first book. However, I did go on a bit of a tangent with my reading. Like, I read 2 books before I actually read The Last Tudor. So I read Birthday by Meredith Russo, and then I read The 5 a.m. Club, which is a book that I started at the beginning of the year. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's not in this video. But basically, Birthday, I didn't give a rating. I read some things on Goodreads that I encourage you to read if you're interested in reading the book. And then also I read The 5 a.m. Club, and I give that a 1 star. I hate a self-help book that tries to be a fiction book. I don't want to hear a story. I want to hear, like, just talk to me nice, like, talk to me normal. And then I also, maybe this is a little bit of like trauma from reading Of Mice and Men, but I hate when people don't get names in books. What do you mean? Just call them by their name, please. Anyway, I read The Last Tudor. I told you I read a little bit of it before, and then I kind of stopped, and then I read a lot this weekend, actually. So actually this weekend I've read 3 books, and they've not all been audiobooks either. I read Birthday literally physically because I had the physical book. I read that literally in 1 day, most of it. I actually started that book in 2019. So some could say it took me 5 years. Some could say that. But I bought it in 2019, read like I think maybe 50 pages in 2019, and then put it away, and then discovered it again when I was like going through my stuff and unhauling books. Anyway, The Last Tudor, what great book. Looking back, I literally just finished it half an hour ago, but I'm gonna say looking back, maybe a 4.5 stars for me. I give it a 4 stars on Goodreads. I might actually add a note and say 4.5 because it was actually amazing. Like, it actually was amazing. Like, it did the 3 sisters, the 3 Grey sisters in installments, so like 3 separate parts, and each story was kind of like heartbreaking, but like kind of motivational as well. I don't know why I have such a fucking kindred spirit with this period of time. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, but I do. And I got emotional at the end because I'm listening to the audiobook, right? And it was like a little bit from Philippa Gregory saying this was the last book she wrote in the Tudor series. And she was like, this is probably the last time I'm going to write about any Tudor women. And I was like, damn. Because she's moving on to a new series, which from my understanding is not historical fiction at all. And I might have said I tried to read that series and it just wasn't for me. I ain't getting enough new Philippa Gregory release for a very long time, which I have other stories I need to hear. I need to know what went down. Like, I need to know. I said Margaret of Anjou. I need Eleanor of Aquitaine. I need all the girls. Like, I need them to be covered, like some of the early ones. So, I think it's really cool to kind of know about that period. I think as well, a lot of the time the first Elizabethan period is spoke about as like a golden age, but we don't kind of uncover some of the other stuff that was going on. So that's why this book was very interesting. All three perspectives loved, and I kind of loved, like, with Elizabeth's reign, she wasn't getting like ops coming from like one place. They were coming everywhere. Like, there were so many people with a legitimate like claim to her throne that could put up a really good argument to take it from her, and she literally was fighting them off every 2 seconds. So that was very interesting. And then it's mad because we've got what, 2 books that I know off the top of my head that, yeah, 2 books that have spoke about Elizabeth and her reign, but we're not gonna get an Elizabeth POV. Like, are we not gonna get that? Have we not deserved that? Like, I just don't know what's going on. But also, like, we've had 2 books talking about it, so do we need to know what she thought? I don't know. So yeah, maybe 4.5 stars for that one. It just, in the words of Charlie XCX, it didn't have a je ne sais quoi to give it a 5 stars. It didn't have what I needed. So 4.5 stars is very fair and very valid. So the next book's The Other Queen, which I can only gather is about Mary Queen of Scots, which I'm very interested about. As I said, I used to love Rain. From the intro and the audiobook, it's narrated by 3 people, including a man. So we shall see what goes on with that. I am very interested in seeing what goes on with that. And then something I just saw on Goodreads, it's got Elizabeth in it again. So we're going to get 3 books that happened during the reign of Elizabeth, but we're not going to get a POV. Suspicious. Highly suspicious. But yeah, I'm going to get into that. 4.5, I predicted 5. Fair. It's okay. It's alright. As I said, I read the 5 a.m. Club. I finished it today. And I have gone in and out of trying to wake up at 5 a.m. But I did it this morning. And I'm very tired. I already had an hour nap today, not too long ago. And I think I'm gonna... Another Charlie XCX reference. I'm gonna crash. I'm about to crash. I'm about to pass out. So what I'm gonna do... It's half... Is it 7:30 or 6:30? It's 6:30. So it's 6:30, and I know what I'm like in my head. I will have a 4-hour sleep, 5 hours sleep, and then wake up at 11:30 being like, I'm ready for the day. And it's like, no bitch, sleep a little bit longer. So let's see. And then we can see. But I'm gonna try and read this book. I might not read it today because I've read 2 books today and I'm just tired. And I read a whole book yesterday, physically, which is out of my character. So yeah, let's see. Probably next week. I'm gonna rereading next week. So yeah, let's get that sorted. Hiya everyone. So okay, I have just finished The Other Queen. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions, but firstly, I want to address the bald head. Yes, I am now bald. I have been bald for a bit. I have not been showing it on camera because you might be able to see by this line, but I had a little cyst removed. It was not pretty. And when it got removed, it wasn't pretty. And when there were stitches hanging out, it wasn't pretty. But now the stitches are out, the cyst isn't there anymore. I have emancipated myself from the cyst. She's no longer my sister, you could say. But but okay, I have finished now both books that I set out. I steamed trained through these. Like, obviously I'm listening to audiobooks, so it's not like if I was physically reading these books. However, I will say, when I read Birthday by Meredith Russo, I basically read that in a day. Shocking, scary, you could say. Anyway, I read The Last Tudor first in this video. I predicted a 5 stars for that one. It was good, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. I even what, 2 days later or 3 days later, I'm kind of like, why did I do that? However, when I got onto the other queen, I predicted that 4 stars. And now you might remember from the last clip I was saying, there's a man who's narrating some parts of this. There's like 3-4 narrators, what the hell. And I was mad that Queen Elizabeth was not getting her first character moment. However, when I tell you this book was amazing, I am not lying. Okay, so my blockers going into this, I was like, the 3 people perspective, this makes no sense. And as someone who does actually shockingly know a lot about Mary Stuart, Mary Queen of Scots, this is a part that I never knew, because like even like TV shows, even like everything that I've digested from this never really speaks about her time as a captor in England. Like it's kind of like the ending of, you know, Reign, for example, where it's just like half an episode, it's like thrown away, like, yeah, she's in England now, Queen Elizabeth hates her, she's dead. But this one did a really good job at speaking about it. And one thing I love about Philippa Gregory in particular is she will take like something that is kind of niche in the way that it's like a paradox or a relationship or a connection that you would never normally think about. So this is about Mary Queen of Scots, but it's also about Bess and I think his name's George, but I'm probably making that up. The Earl, right? Who Bess and the Earl, her husband, Bess's husband, have to look after Mary Queen of Scots while she's in England. And very much her favours change a lot while she's in England. They have this relationship with her that's very interesting, where in some aspects they hate her because Bess is like, I'm spending all my money on this. But at the same time they love her because she's like a 26-year-old Queen of Scotland. I don't know why I did that for that movement. But yeah, no, it's such an interesting, because you'll never think about that. This woman was at one point proclaimed as a queen of 3 different countries. In her lifetime, she was a queen of 2 different countries. She literally had armies rise and fall for her. So you would never think, I'm gonna write a story about her and then I'm gonna write about this dynamic, about the people that looked after her / held her prisoner while she was in England. But it's so good and it's so well done. I literally, I can't, it's amazing. So Philippa Gregory did it again, amazing with the kids. You know, what's that Michelle Obama thing? It's like, you've done it again, Queen, constantly raising the bar. Like literally her, Philippa Gregory. So yeah, I read that 5 stars, and then I'm kind of like sad now because I have no more Philippa Gregory books to read that take part in this universe, and that's sad. I don't like it at all. And she said this is probably her last book that's based on a Tudor or a Plantagenet, and that I just don't love. That I just don't love. So yeah, 5 stars from me. Again, Philippa Gregory, constantly raising the bar. I ate that up, and now I'm not even joking, like probably for the last 4 or 5 years, reading her Tudor Court series and then Cousins War series, firstly was like, I always wanted to do it, and it was always on my like New Year's resolutions, New Year's reading resolutions. And now that it's done, I'm like, no more Philippa Gregory for me, because as I said, she is great. I have tried to read her other books and series. Maybe I'll revisit them now, just not for me. So yeah, sad. It's sad, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please do like, comment, subscribe. Again, I can't recommend Philippa Gregory enough. She really does it for me. She might not do it for you, but she does it for me. And as always, guys, please do like, comment, and subscribe, which I already said. But for now, bye.